Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator. And today is a super awesome day as we finally get our hands on the WinWing PFP for the Boeing series of aircraft. Stick around, guys, because as you can see, we have just only unboxed it. We are going to take a look at it, assemble it, set it up, and see how it functions inside the sim using the PMDG 737-800. So again, stick around. You're not going to want to miss this. If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkills tutorial guides from Microsoft Flight Simulator, or simply interested in supporting the channel, please consider joining us on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides, as well as any future releases that come down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below.
Overkill simulations, watch us as we fly.
All right, folks. So as I said, with the Boeing series of aircraft, they have deemed these or designated them as the PFP. Now, I believe that was due to licensing issues, things like that. But as you guys can see, it is a replica of a Boeing CDU. And it looks absolutely fantastic. I am blown away by this. The buttons feel beautiful. Contact, the push feel, the haptic response is phenomenal. They have a very easy but yet intentional press to them. This is very, very good. Very, very good. I teased you guys a little bit in my previous video and on the live stream that this was going to be happening. So here it is, and I bet you guys can guess what we're going to be live streaming next. Look at that. That looks absolutely fantastic. They've done a wonderful job with these. Wonderful job. Now, this is always my favorite part. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me, guys, especially guys. I know you understand this. The best part about buying any electronic is these freaking films right here, especially when you get a new cell phone. What is the best part about buying a new cell phone? Right here, right here. There's just something amazing about pulling that off. I don't know why. It's like you've been handed a gift from the gods. Anyway, check that out, you guys. It looks fantastic. Dude, and the weight is nice. It is not heavy, but it is weighted. Like you can tell there's something in there worth paying attention to. Now, most of that you can tell up front is the screen, but this feels good. Feels really good. Obviously, you guys can see you got multiple mounting hole options, so you can screw it down to a cockpit or any kind of deck plate. Let's go ahead and set that aside here. We're going to move some of this stuff over. Came very well shipped. I don't normally do unboxes just because, I mean, who is going to have a product like this ship in a shoebox? You know what I mean? All right, so we got foot number 1. And it comes with the rubber feet pre-attached, which the rubber feet are a good touch. The only thing I don't like about these is they tend to be very sticky. Yeah, and they are on both sides. And so what I have found with these ones is that when you go to plant it on something and you go to move it later, sometimes the feet will get left behind. So it's sort of I think it's one of those catch-22 scenarios, but I like these a lot better than the suction cups that they had on the Orion. These are definitely what I'd prefer, and actually I might use, they sent some spares here, and I've still got spares from the FCPs, but I think I'm going to use these on the Orion set. Alright, so they give you all the keys and hardware. There's screws. Cabling, obviously pretty simple, and check this out. Look at this. Look at this. The thing barely fits in my hand, but they give you a screwdriver. That is dope. I don't know why, but I'm super excited. I have probably $4,000 of tools, if not more, sitting in the garage right now, and I don't have any of these. So I'm keeping this. I don't know why. I don't know when I would ever use one again, but I'm keeping this. That is epic right there. All right, so let's set the cabling aside. Let's start taking a look at orientation here. Got various markings identifying. Obviously, our orientation is going to be like this. Right? Yeah. So, to the edge is how they go. Holes with the holes. Like so. Okay. All right, so let's see. What do we got? Now, what do we have here? So pretty easy assembly at the end of the day. Multiple sizes. Cable management. I don't usually worry about that. Not until I decide what I'm doing with it anyway. Okay, it's got cable management clips. Those are very large. Not sure why. These are really large. Oh, for going that way. Why would you go into the side? Do they have side mounts? Oh, there we go. So you have B, A, B. And then we have, I just saw them. B, B. I don't see an A, B. Anyway, it's pretty self-explanatory how we're going to do this. So we want the smaller ones. You're goofy when you have someone with gigantor hands like I do. Wow, that almost doesn't fit. That's the route I'm going to go. Probably should have used a bigger one, but you guys can sort of get the idea of what we're doing here. Okay. I'm just going to use this to snug it up a little bit. Like I always say with this kind of stuff, you are not mounting anything to the Titanic. Okay? You do not need to crush it down as tight as it can go. Okay, so this is probably going to be our other one right here. Actually, that's really close too. But we'll go ahead and give that one a shot. It's there. These are a little tough, I'm not gonna lie. Getting the bolts on, that's a little challenging. I think I would have done pre-threading in the plastic. That would have made this process significantly easier, I think, for everybody involved. Ah, no! Jimmy Wilson! It's like one of my... Oh, I can tell you right now what happened there. We cross-threaded that one. Come on, baby. There it goes. There it goes. There. There you go. Just leave it like that. It worked perfectly. All right. So you guys got the gist. I'm going to do the other side, and I'll catch you guys in a second. All right. So let's talk. So we ended up going with the lower profile method, like we had discussed previously. When I simply tried keeping this as the bottom, so remember we wanted it up higher like this, and I was going to move it up here, and I knew it would probably come down to about here. It was still going to be lower, but unfortunately the screw holes for that didn't line up and didn't work. Because of this cutout here, you have to watch for the recession there, and you guys can see there's the overlap that was causing the problem. So I'm not crazy about that. Now, with it being top heavy, if really the only thing that would have been super impacted, I think, well, even I think up here would have caused a problem. So yeah, it is top heavy. And to WinWing, guys, I hope you guys figure out a better way, because up here like this for like desk usage is going to be far more useful. Now, keep in mind, these are sticky. Like, I can't stress that enough, you guys. These are sticky pads, okay? I'm not taking them off yet because I don't know where I'm going to permanently set this or how I want to do that yet. So with that in mind, with how the adhesive that those have, they're not ridiculous. They don't leave any kind of film behind or anything like that. It's fine. You know, nothing that Windex wouldn't take care of, or, you know, whatever dusting solution you use. But so with the sticky pads off and the feet on the bottom, even without power and being a little top heavy, I do believe these sticky pads probably would have held it there. Okay. But instead, we're just going to come down here like this. The biggest thing that you guys can see it, okay, it does have a bit of a rock, which I don't like on the bottom. But again, that's another one of those things that we're just going to have to sort of suck up and deal with at this point, because I don't know what our other options are. All right, guys. So now let's go ahead and run through it. So we're going to just do sort of a mock flight plan here, just so you guys can sort of see what's going on here. Yeah, I got to update the nav data. We're not going to worry about that right now. We'll just use the old stuff here. I think I still remember it. So let's just sort of begin here. We are starting out at KTUS. The buttons feel absolutely fantastic. They require an intentional push, but nothing too crazy. They feel very, very good. They're actually one of the better feelings and fastest responses that I've seen yet. And by the way, to get this all started and running, you simply launch this software. That's it. You just start it. You don't have to do anything else. Just run the software and it will connect to the aircraft. Launch the sim first is what I did. We're Southwest, I don't know, 310, whatever. We're just going to make some crap up here. And then let's keep on going. Let's go departures and arrivals. We're going to depart on the Burrow 4 using the Gila Bend transition, departing runway 11 left, which is now 11 or 12. Now we're going to go to our route, go to our next page. We're going to fly direct to Eastwood is the old one, which should be correct since the nav data is out of date. From Eastwood should be direct to Hollywood. So now we're going to go departures and arrivals again. We're going to find the Hollywood 1. There it is, Hollywood 1. Yep, using the Eastwood transition, coming in ILS 24 left with the Seaview transition onto the approach. Go to our route, hit activate, go to execute, go to legs. Next page, cycling through. Everything looks absolutely fantastic. No worries there. Back to our initial reference. This is it's fast, dude. This is fast. It is just keeping up with me. 350. I'm going to see how fast I can push it. Cost index 15. Reserve fuel 2.1. Zero fuel weight. Drop that in there. Let's go ahead and make up a mock wind speed. 210 at 53 knots. A little rough up there. And let's see here. Let's go over to our N1 limit. We'll use a minor D rate just because, you know, the people around Tucson. Let's see here. Oh, 280 knots at Pruin. We'll fix that here. Flaps 5 is our takeoff. We got our takeoff speed, center of gravity. Dude, that is just, it is on it. It is on it. Go to our legs page. Bruin was an issue. 280 knots at 30,000 feet. Why can't you make that? Oh, because we're coming down from 256 knots, 280 knots. So let's bring it down to 256. So we're just going to go 256 slash, drop that up there. Boom, execute. That should be fine now. It's matching the same speed as what it was before, or at least what was projected. If it gives us an error, we'll deal with it then. But bam. I mean, that was just, the response time was phenomenal. Now, let's start talking about comparison in the three products real quick. I have tried the WingFlex, which is extremely expensive unit. A little over, if I remember correctly, $600 US. Now, the WingFlex, its purpose, in my opinion, is for the professional simmer. Now, what does that mean? What is a professional simmer? You are building an exact replica in your house of a particular aircraft, say the 737, for example. You have the authentic overhead panels, the FCPs, everything is as authentic and expensive as you can find it. WingFlex would definitely be the way I would go in that particular route because it is dedicated to a single pit. You're not looking to fly any other aircraft, and you want it as realistic as you can. It is made from authentic materials, just like the real aircraft, with the same dimensions, and even the weight, is my understanding, is supposed to be on par with the real aircraft. So that's WingFlex purpose. Then you have the PU CDU version 2. Again, quite a bit more expensive. Comes in at a little over $350 US. Memory serves. You get a single plate, but that's the advantage. You get the single plate that comes with the price of the unit, but then for $100 more, you can buy additional plates. So you can buy, for example, if it came with one for the 737, you could buy a plate that comes or that is for the A320 and the 747 or the 777, whatever it may be. And it's a simple magnetic hold where you just lift it up, move it, pop the new one on. I have a review of that in my channel as well. Same thing with the WingFlex if you guys want to check that out. I have used, for example, with the WingFlex, it was designed, the one that I have was designed around the 737. I have used it with aircraft like the 777, the 747, where some of the buttons, like for example, departures and arrivals, for example, I believe is actually up here on the climb button. So the CDU is laid out slightly differently. Now, the one thing I will say is that never seems to be a deal breaker for me. You learn pretty quickly what the differences are, and you can still more than easily execute all the functionality that you would need in any of the variants of Boeing aircraft with a 737 unit. Okay, so for example, again, I haven't done it with this one, but on the 737 or on the WingFlex version, I have executed in the 777, I have used it in the 747, and I've used it in the 737 all as a test to see how easily I could get around it, and within a matter of seconds, you learn real quick. Occasionally you push the wrong button by accident, so you just go back and go to the page you needed. But all the LSKs and all the other layouts are the same, so it makes it very, very easy. So you're not restricted. Even though this was a 737 replica, you're not restricted to that. Now, at the time of this recording, I do not know if this unit is compatible with things like the 777 or the 747, but I believe that is something that is going to be available later on. So just keep that in mind. This is a very preliminary review of the unit. The unit was just delivered today. I was super excited, wanted to share it with you guys. It has not officially been released as of yet. You guys remember at the FS Expo, they did release price points on each of these units. And I believe, if memory serves, they come in right around 150 US dollars. Let's see if we can't find them real quick so I can get confirmation on that for you guys, because obviously that's a big kicker. So WinWing, enter official store, and I'm just finding this stuff for you guys for a second. Like I said, I'm not even sure if it's available yet. So accessories, panel, combo. Yeah, no, they're not even on the website yet. Okay, so then I don't want to talk any further about pricing. Pricing, obviously, always subject to change. And the WinWing hasn't said that. That's me saying that. It's just I know how this stuff can go sometimes. Sometimes things, just go a little bit differently than what we intended on. So let me double check here. Going through part of their page one more time. Yep, nope, they're not up there yet. So, which is totally fine. Like I said, this is a preliminary review of the unit. Let you guys know what to expect. I am super impressed with this. Super impressed with this. It feels great. It lays great. Like I said, we have a little bit of a wiggle that happened. If I pull this piece of paper out, which is just the spare feet, okay, it does have a bit of a rock when I have it set like this, as we talked about earlier, but that's because those feet are still there. If I were to pull that white backing off, it would then create an adhesive and it would stick, and it probably wouldn't move at all because that bottom piece would be stuck down to the desk and preventing it from coming up. So keep that in mind. That is one of the downsides. I do hope WinWing does something a little bit better with the feet, but that is it. If that's the best complaint I can come up with. Installation, assembly, everything was absolutely super easy. Especially the fact that all you have to do is start the software, nothing else, no configuration, no buttons, no telling you what aircraft it is. Simply start it. You don't have to export the screen. This is the same as it was with the WingFlex, where you just plug and play. As soon as you launch the aircraft, boom. And if you shut the power off, for example, actually, no, it won't. Once it updates, I think it just stays on the last used screen. But if you start with a cold and dark aircraft, I think we saw that in the beginning of the video. I can't remember if I did that or not. But it will say loading panel state across the screen. But then once we go up top, like, we'll test it. What the hell? Let's test it real quick. I don't think it will. Let's shut the ground power off. Oh, GPS invalid. That makes sense. So we're getting read back. That makes sense. And where's our battery? Dead. All right, so yeah, it holds the last screen is what it does. Yeah, you can't do anything now. So cold and dark cockpit, that's what you get as the last screen. But, for example, if we close out. And again, please keep in mind, this is a very early access review of this hardware. It is not even released yet. I'm going to keep repeating that when we come into issues like this, simply because I think it's unfair when people start commenting, well, it doesn't change. It's early access. This is not complete yet. The software still needs to be updated. There's some more firmware updates. But if I close the software, I believe it will go dark. Nope, it didn't. But that's okay. Very simple. Reset. And we're back. And again, that I can tell you for sure, for example, with like the FCP, for those of you guys who have that as well from WinWing, you know, the autopilot panels, they shut down as to be expected when you shut down the sim and everything. So this is very early release. Keep that in mind. But I am super excited by this, you guys. I think they've done an absolutely phenomenal job with this. The price point that they, like I said, if I remember, it's supposed to be right around 150 US dollars. I hope I have that right, but don't quote me on that just yet. As further information, further updates come out about these products, I will be letting you guys know. But here's the one thing I will tell you guys is the fact that I have this in my hands means that it will be in your hands very soon. So WinWing, fabulous work. This is an absolutely amazing product. The quality is wonderful. You guys have done great with this. I'm really loving you guys' entry into the commercial and general aviation flight simulation. You guys make superior combat products. You guys do a fabulous job. So it's really nice seeing you guys moving on over to commercial and general aviation. As always, guys, I hope you guys found this video useful. Stay safe and healthy, folks. And I'll see you in the next one.